Greetings, students of the Force, and welcome back to the channel. On Mustafar, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin had a climactic duel that came to a drastic finish, as Obi-Wan took off Anakin's remaining limbs and left him to burn. Thinking he was surely dead after these injuries, Obi-Wan escaped as he saw the Imperial dropship making its way down to the volcanic surface. A dropship which he knew contained Darth Sidious, the new Emperor himself. Palpatine, accompanied by his guards, found Anakin on the bank of Mustafar and quickly took him back to Coruscant, where his life would ultimately be saved, and Anakin would later be fitted with his armor, which would be his prison for the remainder of his life. One thing that stands out though in this series of events is the exact timing where all of this took place. Palpatine had anticipated that Vader would become so powerful that he would eclipse even his own and Yoda's power. We know that the Emperor is gifted in foresight and often spent his time in deep meditation in order to gain deeper insight into the future, as he had known the exact key details far in advance for many of the key existences and plays that he would need to make as a Sith Lord. However, Palpatine did not know that Vader would end up losing his duel on Mustafar. So, how did he prepare Vader's armor so quickly? Today, we have that exact answer. The first and most important thing to note here is that despite what it may have looked like on the film, the surgery didn't take place over the course of just a few minutes or even overnight. And we can find our key answer in the Revenge of the Sith novelization. According to the novelization, Anakin's surgery into Darth Vader and his armor was something that took several days of extensive care in order to accomplish properly. During this time, Palpatine had called for the most skilled doctors and scientists in the Republic to save his apprentice's life, offering them massive amounts of money and power in the reigning empire for their services. Among one of the most successful ones was known as Dr. Clio, a doctor widely renowned for his biomechanical engineering and cybernetic prosthetics. After Anakin had his burnt lungs aided with a respirator, Dr. Clio then fitted him with his cybernetic limbs. However, Dr. Clio himself was the best doctor in the Empire. The materials he was given ultimately were not. Although Palpatine's power and wealth would have allowed him to import the best materials around, he opted to punish Anakin for losing his duel with Kenobi by using purposefully lower grade and obsolete material for his cybernetics. And even though Darth Sidious had the option to upgrade Vader's suit to the finest of the capabilities that the Empire's long reach could obtain, he decided not to. And although he wanted the craftsmanship to be done exceedingly well, he would not give Vader's the greatest materials that he could have acquired at the time. It is likely that Anakin was having to switch between the operating table and the back-to treatment for several days on end, rarely getting any relief from his intense suffering, and constantly going back under the knife. During the time, Palpatine would be pulling up old files on how he wanted the suit to look, designing it carefully, and basing the design off of General Grievous, as well as the Old Republic Sith war droids. Palpatine instructed Dr. Clio on the exact design he wished for Lord Vader to wear. He got right to work, and after days of intense work and scrutiny, he had Lord Vader's suit. The lower grade materials that were given to Dr. Clio were likely another reason the process went so quickly, as it was the easiest material to retrieve just on hand. Soon, Anakin would rise from the operating table, encased in the black tomb of a suit. The truth of the matter is, Palpatine actually had been testing the possibilities of prolonging life through the use of cybernetics and technology by using General Grievous as essentially a test subject. In some twisted way, the rumor that General Grievous was a proto-Darth Vader that had been circulating across the galaxy was in some way true. Sidious had approached the Kaleesh warrior Grievous with an offer to fulfill his desire to destroy Jedi by enhancing him through the use of cybernetics. These cybernetics which could mimic the uses of the Force, giving Grievous enhanced speed, reflexes, durability, and strength. Around this time, Palpatine had also been studying the possibilities of maybe using cybernetically enhanced individuals to combat the Jedi for wartime. Despite his hatred for droids, General Grievous admired their infallibility and seemingly perfect function. He agreed to the procedures, and over the course of time would have his entire body, save for his internal organs, replaced with droid parts. With this, he became an absolute monster and more than a match for many Jedi, nearly all of them in fact. With this research on hand, Palpatine was able to use this knowledge to make sure that Vader was optimized in this short period of time. In a way, without General Grievous, Darth Vader would never been able to have obtained his suit so quickly, and very likely may have died. Darth Vader's suit was heavy, cumbersome, and his cybernetic limbs often snagged on his exposed flesh. Much of his bones had to actually be taken out and replaced by artificial bones. Anakin Skywalker's lungs were permanently damaged, burned on the inside, an aspect of Vader's injuries that he would call the most painful. His rotting flesh would never grow back properly, and it would constantly have to be shaved away, in order for Vader and the rest of him to not get infected. It was also extremely difficult for Vader to lift his arms over his head, and although it was possible, it caused him extreme pain. Not to mention, Darth Vader was aware that Palpatine could have made his suit more advanced, and yet his own master decided simply not to out of pure sadistic punishment. Something that is often overlooked in Revenge of the Sith is again it is portrayed as just a few moments that Darth Vader's suit is constructed, if maybe even a few hours, when in reality the construction process was Palpatine's top priority for several days, as Vader was being operated on, at first to prolong and essentially save Darth Vader's life, and the second half was the construction of the cybernetic monstrosity and the cybernetic tomb that Vader would be encased in. Palpatine wanted Darth Vader's design to echo the Sith of old, as he no longer believed he would ever grow to the level where he could replace him and usurp him as the true Emperor. Vader from now on was a tool and a pawn for Palpatine to move around at will across his now massive chessboard. The Darth Vader that was one day going to overthrow Palpatine was no longer in existence. He was now going to be a purebred Sith warrior, and a Sith warrior that would constantly have the reminders of his failure, and not to mention his failure, but the potential of what Lord Vader could have been and could have become. Everything taken away from him, his very suit, his pain that he constantly endured, a reminder of this suffering, a reminder of his failure, and a reminder of what could have been. So, it was a combination of easy-to-acquire materials, pre-tested cybernetic building methods, and the talents of Dr. Clio and several days of intense work that resulted in Lord Vader's suit being ready in a brief amount of time as it was, with the construction of Lord Vader's suit having its own tragic backstory. But anyway, students of the Force, I hope this helped explain to all those who were wondering how Darth Vader's suit was constructed so quickly, and how Palpatine managed to do so. As always, my friends, may the Force be with you, and I hope that you have a great day and will join us in our future videos.